Surprise, because it kind of feels out of nowhere that Ubisoft revealed the roadmap for some content we can still expect this year for Valhalla, including a hint at a big 1.4 update we get after the Discovery Tour. I of course got some theories that I will be sharing in this video, and we got some other news to go over. So of course, if you like the Valhalla content here on the channel, then leaving a like, only costs 1 second of your time, would really help the channel out, and let's go. You can still enter my current Helix credit pack giveaway, 2,300 credits. You find the link in the pinned comment. I give you then a gift card that I buy myself, and then you can get some credits if you want. And be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter. We'll be announcing the winner next week. And well, next week we already get a brand new Valhalla update. Again, it's kind of surprising. October 5th, so that's 4 weeks after the most recent patch, which of course added the river raids on September 7th. Which also makes me think that we immediately get a new Helix pack on that day, so on October 5th. Then they can keep the every other week schedule going. So kind of how the High Elf pack released out of nowhere. PlayStation game sites already found the update in the PlayStation database, saying that it's a medium to big update. But overall, I don't expect a lot from this patch. I really think it just includes a lot of data for the Discovery Tour already, that of course launches 2 weeks later on October 19th. And while editing this video, Ubisoft dropped a first look at the armor set we can get by playing this Discovery Tour. There should also be a ship and more. I think the armor set looks pretty awesome. It's a reskin, I think, of the Iron set with, of course, a really cool new helmet. And we, by the way, have some new footage of this education mode, where we of course learn more about the Viking era without any combat, and this mythical world footage was shared by AC on Twitter. That's why the quality is kind of bad. I think we see Thor first, and then Odin, and then Freya as playable characters. Maybe it's Tyr, but I think it's Freya, looking at the one bracer the character has, just like Freya's model as you see right here. But yeah, both characters should be playable, just like in the previous Discovery Tour, where we also had a ton of familiar characters that we could control as we took on special quests and guided tours. And the reloads actually leaked a big list with a lot of characters we can expect. Link to his channel will of course be in the video description. And personally, I would love an Odin outfit for Eivor that we could also use like in the main game. There is a mod for this. We see footage here from Banana Games. I think it looks pretty cool. Would of course then be a legacy outfit, I would imagine. Like, we have no clue if this will be coming to the game, but I think it would be awesome. And yes, we also see a hood during combat, which we of course also don't have yet. But maybe that is something they're going to add with this October 5th update. Maybe we see some new skills that we see very often, or some other quality of life features would be nice. Maybe those new daily contracts that got leaked, went over them in my previous video. I will link to that at the end of this one. Overall, I'm not expecting that though. Like, I'm not expecting a lot from this patch. So I hope we can be surprised with some cool things, or a Reda buff or medic, because our boy clearly needs some help. To be fair though, today's daily is really good. It's the Knight Izu helmet for the very first time. 120 opal. Totally get it before it's gone. You got 24 hours. And it really seems that the weekly selection has been significantly nerfed, while the daily selection is sometimes okay. I still hope they improve the system though with the next patch. And I first thought the Halloween event would be part of this update, but no, now Ubisoft confirms it's actually coming after the Discovery Tour, so high chance they won't make the October 31st like date, when Halloween of course takes place. Now we're likely looking at an early November release date for this festival instead, which then also means the kickoff of Season 4 for Valhalla. We also see that with the update being called 1.4, which means, hey, a new season is going to start. But more interesting is of course the image they shared to tease this patch. The quality is sadly not that great, but we do see Eivor with the Ravenclan armor going into this cave with a lot of spikes, traps, a torch ready. I mean, this could of course be anything, but we have Dom, the community manager, kinda hyping it up, saying, I wonder what the third pick is about. So, there's more going on than just your typical update, and I have 2 theories on what this might be. Maybe it's combined, although that might be a bit far-fetched. But I want to start with an interesting fact, and that is that Jose, the post-launch producer, was teasing a big surprise for this upcoming 4th season in my recent interview. I already shared this quote, but I want to insert it here again because I think it's connected. Let's have a listen.
So you will, I will say this. There's not exactly a game mode.
Okay.
But there's at least one thing that you totally don't expect.
Oh wow.
And if we manage to not have any leaks, and if we manage to keep it secret, you're literally going to say, I did not see this coming.
So I think the image is linked to this big surprise that Jose is teasing, or at least it's the start of what the big surprise is going to be. Ubisoft also put 3 icons in their tweets about the roadmap. We see a mountain, a walking person, and also a magnifying glass. Now what if this is hinting at the Odin runes we currently have in the game that are all on mountains right now, and you really need a magnifying glass to see them. One is even close to our settlement. Darby, the narrative director on Valhalla, who's now not at Ubisoft anymore, said all the way back in March that these Odin runes are a mystery you cannot fully solve yet. That's by design. Be patient. I mean, we've been patient for almost a year now, but to be fair, the whole post-launch plan has of course been pushed back pretty significantly. I don't think it was their intent to start the 4th season 1 year after the launch of the game. Like, we're probably getting this 1.4 update on November 9th, 1 day before the 1-year anniversary of Valhalla. So we're basically in year 2 of Valhalla when Season 4 starts. I think in a perfect world, they wanted to end Season 4 on that day. No, but I really would not be surprised if we finally unlock these runes after this patch. That we then find these sort of dungeons inside the mountains where we also encounter these spikes. And this then likely ties us directly to the Odyssey crossover that we know is coming, which leaked shortly after my interview with Jose. So when I talked to Jose, it wasn't leaked yet. And the reloads namely leaked dialogue between Cassandra and Eivor, where they revert to these Odin runes. And I will only really share this small part of the content because it actually connects the runes to the Odyssey crossover. But that is all, because I don't want to spoil this content. So Cassandra says, after your big success with the rocks, why don't you guide us this time? Because it turns out that Cassandra cannot see anything on these rocks. After which Eivor says, of course you don't see it. You are missing Odin's sides after all. Really hinting at that they are talking about these Odin runes. So seems like we clear the runes in England first. There are 5 of those, as we see in this map from the ones who came before. And then after that we go to the island of Skye in Scotland to likely see Cassandra, because this island seems to be part of this Odyssey crossover too, according to leaks. But I personally think that it's a bit too much to also add this potentially big island already with this 1.4 update, because 2 days after this patch we already get a new festival. That's always how it goes at the start of a new season. Seems like a bit too much for one drop. So maybe this update is just a prologue and then a few updates later. Kind of like what we see with the Master Challenges as well. That also has a second part coming later. So that the second part of this Odyssey crossover is going to be the part where we get to explore the island. That, as said in my previous video, looks perfect for Valhalla looking at the real world shots. But with Jose teasing that there's not actually a game mode and that there's going to be a big surprise in Season 4, I do think that we might actually already see this new island during Season 4. And that not actually a game mode thing makes me think that there might be more going on. I have this theory for quite a while now, and especially after Watch Dogs Legion getting a roguelike zombie mode and Far Cry 6's Season Pass basically being 3 roguelike expansions, I think Valhalla will get the roguelike treatment too. And I asked Jose about this. What we really see is a trend with Ubisoft games like a roguelike genre. Watch Dogs Legion of the Dead is doing that. Far Cry 6 is having like all the 3 DLCs from the Season Pass. I think it would fit Valhalla pretty well. Is it something you guys are looking at?
I'm glad you think that. That's super good to hear. We'll take that comment into consideration.
Awesome. I think it would be pretty wild if we get a free island comparable but likely smaller to Frankia or the Druids DLC. So maybe this crossover turns out to be some sort of roguelike mode instead, which would not really be a game mode in a way. Okay, maybe connecting the two is a little too far-fetched, but I do think they will do something with the roguelike genre for Valhalla in the future. Then it will likely be similar to Vinland, where we also started with basically nothing and then had to get new gear. Of course, roguelike also means that you die often and that every run is different and that you kind of start over each time, but that you do have some progression in between runs. And that was my first thought when I saw this image again of the update, so that every run maybe we have different traps like these spikes to look out for. But I now think that this is like the Odin runes. Although your theories are of course more than welcome in the comments down below. I do think that with roguelike being a replayable mode, that would really benefit Valhalla. So I hope we see that. I'll be the first to tell you when we have official info, so of course subscribe to stay up to date on everything Valhalla. We'll of course make a video and stream the new update on October 5th. A like would really help me out. And check out my big previous video on new items coming to the game that are likely going to be free. You can watch it by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of our photo mod showcase. We would love to showcase your pictures at the end of a Valhalla video. Share them via the JorRaptor hashtag on Twitter, or by going to the dedicated pictures channel on our Discord. You can join the Discord via the link in the pinned comment. Okay, Joyce, your turn. You, of course, selected 3 shots from the community. So, yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, so we start with Schmohog over on Twitter, who took this silhouette shot of Eivor while walking through Ireland. I love the side sticking out here, ready for more adventure. Then we got Hunter Screed, who bumped into some conversation here while taking a picture. I mean, what were these 3 up to? They look like caught while drinking ale. Maybe they even stole it. I don't know. Also,
it's from
that
the
helmet.
festival. From
Yeah.
From the enemies you fight with the one-handed sword, I think.
They're still angry. And well, looks like Skada saw your stream and had to try out the red arrow trick for himself. If you watch this video, you already know what I'm talking about. This looks painful, but also artsy in a way. Is that weird? You know, like an Eivor is in the back holding his bow, like looking at his creation.
I like how you call this arrow trick, but it's basically just hurting Reda in a fun way.
Oh, no, you say it's a fun trick.
he doesn't deserve it today. We already went over that. So get that Ether Knight helmet, subscribe for more Valhalla content, and we will speak to you soon with more interesting news. Goodbye.
Goodbye.